Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest.
Hey everybody, we're back with another video and I'm your host Kit Kat. So today we have Jabelle and Henry Lowry. Alright guys, tell me where you guys are at during this quarantine.
Well, I'm in Florida with my family right now, actually.
Whoa, you must be burning up.
Listen, it is way too hot down here. It's too much, but it's good. I'm having a good time with my family.
That's nice. What about you, Henry?
I'm not anywhere near as fun. I'm still in Detroit at home, doing nothing. But at least I can do this now, so that helps.
I was about to say, why y'all sound so bored though?
I am bored almost all the time.
Because heat makes you tired. Outside, I'm just...
So
I'm in Pompano Beach.
Where is that?
Pompano Beach.
Oh, I ain't been there.
It's like maybe 2.5, maybe 3 hours away from Orlando.
Okay. Well, do you guys have any funny memories from when you were camping out in a tent?
Yeah, and I have a lot of memories. Pathfinders was it. I remember one specifically. I remember it was Union, and you were there, Kit Kat. Well, we went to Union. I'll never forget it. You had to do something. I don't know what you had to do, but you had to do something. I think Jackson was asking you to do something, or Miss Latina was asking you to do something, and so you were like, I want someone to come with me. Because you were meeting with all the different clubs, and we went to John's Club, Orion. And they fed us some burgers, some fries, and a drink. And we just stayed there for maybe like 2 hours just chilling. Like, I'll never forget that.
And I probably have hundreds of stories about camping since I've been so many times. But it's funny, you should ask me a question about funny stories about camping in the tent, because one of my funniest stories, and it's something I will remember to the day I die forever, was interaction that I had with your brother, Kit Kat. It was hilarious because we were camping, and I don't think Conan was going that year. We were camping, so Kit Kat and her brother were staying with us. And we set up our tents. We already had to set up our tents in the rain because, as always, we arrived late. So we arrived late. We had to set up our tents in the rain. So once we set up our tents and we felt like, okay, now we can get inside and get out of the rain, so that way we'll be safe. Turns out our tent, as soon as it started raining, the rain just poured into our tent. So our tent had two sides. So the one side was like almost completely flooded with rain.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so it was my side and Caitlin's brother Mikey. So our side was getting wetter and wetter and wetter, more wet. You could see the creeping towards our sleeping bags. So creeping towards our sleeping bags. So he kept moving over and over and over, as the water got closer, closer, closer. So eventually it got so wet that he just abandoned his sleeping bag. He came over to my sleeping bag and he was on my sleeping bag. So he said, well, this is how we're going to spend the night. So he got in my sleeping bag and we were laying there and it got more wet and more wet and more wet. So half of my sleeping bag was wet. So it was basically me and him lying on half the sleeping bag trying to stay dry throughout the night. And that is something I will never forget because it brought us close together, literally.
So, I think my honest...
Do you have any stories about
Mine was like, I can say I have a funny one, a terrifying one, and one like out of a movie. So like,
I want to hear your terrifying one.
my terrifying one. All right,
Yeah.
so me, I don't know if you remember Jillian.
I think I
Jerry
might.
Romeo?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember Jerry
I think I've heard.
Okay, so me, Jillian, and Kayla Anderson, we were all in Conant at the time. We were on a TLT camp out for the weekend. And mainly the TLTs were girls at this time. Mainly it was girls, girl power. But anyways, in the middle of the night, I had to go to the bathroom. And I do not like the dark. I hate the dark, especially when you're outside. So I looked out my tent and it's pitch black darkness. And it's like the porta potty is about maybe 10 yards away. I know it don't sound like that's that far because you can see it, but it looked really creepy. And it was like a crap little trees literally inches behind the porta potty. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not going
Oh my
behind.
goodness.
So I woke up everyone in my tent. So Jillian and Kayla was like, might as well go to the bathroom. So we all took turns going to the bathroom. When we got out, we had talked for a minute, heard a tree branch break. Was
Oh
terrified
no,
to
I'm
look
gone.
back. So then we took off running. Okay. Kayla fell while the rest of us were still running. She fell. But as she was falling, she was crawling on the ground, got back up and kept on running. There was not a minute of stopping between that. Okay. She was like, I will not be the girl that dies in this horror film. No, thank you. And just kept on going. And then when we got to the tent, our feet didn't even touch the tent. We jumped in it. And we started arguing about who was about to zip the tent up. We were like, Kayla, you do it. You live longer. She was like, I'm a year older than you. I'm not about to go. So then finally one of us closed the tent. I don't remember which one, but finally one of us closed the tent. And then it looked like something hit the tent and we freaked out. And somehow, by some miracle, we got to go to sleep. And we woke up and we saw all of these footprints outside. So we were like, was that a deer messing with us? Like, we still don't know.
Oh my goodness.
It was really, really weird and scary.
I don't know that I would have gone camping after that experience. I might have taken a year off or something.
Oh, and that same camp, right? That same weekend, a spider bit my hand and it got like 3 times bigger than the other one and I couldn't use it or move it.
Oh, wow. That's not great.
Oh my goodness.
That was not great.
Stuff like that. I haven't had experiences like that. But if I did, I wouldn't be doing it again. I wouldn't go camping anymore.
My crazy experience camping, I don't know if it counts as a camping experience because it didn't really happen during the camping portion of the trip, but it was at the first Oshkosh. The first Oshkosh I went to. I'm not the first Oshkosh. I'm not that old. The first Oshkosh I went to, which was in 2009. And back in 2009, I was just a young little guy, young Pathfinder, didn't know a lot. But I did know how to camp a little bit because we were out camping. So that's not where the problem arose. The problem arose is when I didn't realize how crazy 7-Day Adventists can be about certain things. Because it was the first night of the evening program, and I had never seen anything like it before. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. So we get there about an hour early, and these rules were different in 2009 than they are the past 2 Oshkosh. And it's probably because of this very reason that the rules are different. Currently, if you get to there early, you can go in and take a seat in the area where you can watch the program. But in 2009, they had a rope and you had to wait until the time came. They would open the rope. And so what would happen is once they open the rope, it'd be a huge amount of people. Everybody would rush, try to get to the front the best seats possible. So this time we were at the front. We were at the very front. We were so close. And I was amazed because they had soldiers that were pretending to be like soldiers from the Bible. They were standing really still until time was coming. So I was amazed. So I guess I didn't notice when they opened the rope. So as soon as they opened the rope, everyone started rushing in and it was just a stampede. So I get pushed to the front. I'm getting pushed, and then I fall on the ground. So when I fall on the ground, you think these nice 7-Day Adventist people, they'll help you up, they'll brush you off and be like, oh, are you all right? No, that's not what happened. I got ran over at least 30 times. I was trampled, kicked. I'm like, man, is getting a seat that important? Jeez. Man, so I get kicked. Eventually, one of the staff members I was with, he had to push people out the way and grab me off the ground. And I was so mad, I didn't even stay for the evening program. I went back to the camp and I sulked the rest of the night. So from that day forward, I'm like, nothing like this is gonna happen to me again. So actually, I started working out after that. I'm like, this is not gonna happen to me again. Somebody pushed me, I'm pushing back. I'm gonna be a tough guy about it. And so I guess technically that counts as a camping experience, but it wasn't because we were camping at Oshkosh, through the tent. But
that's camping. Oshkosh is the ultimate camping.
Yeah. And also that camping, I got so dark. I've never regained my complexion from the first Oshkosh. Like I used to be lighter. I literally used to be about 2 shades lighter than I currently am right now.
Oh my goodness.
I never recovered from 8 days out in the sun with no sunscreen. I got my first sunburn, but it was a great experience nonetheless, a learning experience about how crazy Seventh-day Adventist people can be sometimes. I thought they were only crazy when it came to potlucks and getting in line, but I guess they like to get in line.
Yeah, they
get into the front.
On that Oshkosh line. I had a similar experience. So with you and my brother, I had a similar experience like that. But at Oshkosh, that first night when we got there, it was beautiful and nice weather. But once we start putting tents up, it decided it want to rain and be windy.
Every time.
So then we was putting up the big white tent for the kitchen, and it blew over, and I think it hit Shiloh's tent. And I don't think their tent was in the ground yet. So we had to go and come together and get those tents off. So then the next thing that happened was we couldn't find my sleeping bag that night. And we couldn't put a tarp under my tent. So I slept what felt like in a little puddle of water within the tent. Somehow, miraculously, by the next day, it dried. And then we found the sleeping bag once I woke up. And I'm like, well, it's not helpful anymore.
No, I feel like I kind of am glamping because I have never had a sleeping bag. I always have an air mattress.
What?
Yeah, I'm not about the whole sleeping bag thing. I'm not sleeping on the ground. I need an air mattress. Yeah.
You gotta rough it.
No, I mean, I'm roughing it enough not actually having Wi-Fi or going to the real bathroom. So I deserve an air.
Generation Z said, Wi-Fi, that's enough roughing it for me.
I mean, I have data, so I'm okay for the week.
Yeah, but it's funny. A Kit Kat story reminded me of another story from Oshkosh about the importance of staking down your tent, because I never put that much emphasis on staking down the tent. I figured, okay, we'll do it, but I never thought it was super important. It's super important because when I was at Oshkosh, when I was younger, I can't remember if it was 2009 or 2014. We were getting water from the area we needed to get water, and so we're there, and we see like these little baby tornadoes popping up, and then so they issue a warning. They're like, "Oh, these little baby tornadoes are popping up, spinning around. Be careful." And I'm like, "Okay, well, we didn't think anything of it." Next thing I know, you see tents and canopies, everything flying down the streets, people running after their tents. I'm like, oh man, you should have tied that down. You should have staked that down. And I get back to our camp, my tent is flipped over, and then our canopy, it didn't blow all the way away because it was pretty heavy, but I was surprised that it blew at all because it was at least 100 pounds. So I'm like, this thing must be crazy because it was heavy, too heavy for me to even lift at the time. That brings the importance of always stake your tents down, because people were literally running down the roads after their tents and canopies. I stopped to help some people, but it was funny to me. I was laughing. I was trying not to laugh at people because, you're not supposed to laugh at people in peril, but I was laughing.
That same thing happened to me, but except it wasn't even windy, right? We that one year we had honors retreat at Kensington.
Oh yeah.
You remember we was sitting at breakfast and we saw a tent rolling away?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was my tent. Someone took the stakes out. We were all laughing like, who tent is that? And then my director's like, oh, I think that's yours. And I had to run and get it before it hit the water. And I'm just mad. And I'm like, who took the stakes out of this tent? Whoever did this probably have to do some push-ups. Who did this? Because I was not the only one to sleep in that tent. So I'm like, why am I the only one trying to get it away from the water?
See, now I don't remember that portion, but there's one thing from that I will never forget, and it's that is one of the stories I will always remember. I don't know why it stuck on my brain so much, but if you recall, on that Friday night they made us have to make our own food, so we had to get our hot dog, wrap them in foil and put them on the fire and cook them. And so a lot of people was having troubles with there. Some people was falling in the fire, some people were too raw and burned them. And mine was so great; it was perfect. And I'm not gonna name any names to protect the not innocent. I'm not gonna name somebody, certain person. They stole my hot dog, and it was a perfect hot dog. Like it was like brown to perfection. And they stole it right off the fire. And I'm like, where's my hot? I came back. I'm looking. I'm like, where's my hot dog? And then I seen, and they was like, oh, she took your hot dog. And I'm like, oh. My perfect hot dog. They was like, well, you can just make another. I'm like, no, that was the perfect hot dog. It'll never get any better than that. So I just ate some baked beans and went to bed that night. Now, that's why I remember that Kensington. That's how I remember that trip. But it was funny to me because that stuck in my mind so much, and I would think about that hot dog at least once a month. I'd be like, I cannot believe she took my perfect hot dog. Once a month, I think about that. So if she's listening to this, you owe me a perfect hot dog so that you can return the favor and I can stop thinking about it and being so hurt. You know who you are. She knows.
So what is like cooking like for y'all? Like, do y'all have designated people cooking? Like, what is the food situation? Because I know our food situation, like just, Saturday, because we go camping Friday, Saturday, we leave Sunday. Saturday, we're all just like, I'm over cooking out in this hot heat. And, you have all the activities, Sabbath, like canoeing and doing honors. So what is y'all's cooking situation like?
Our cooking situation, it used to be good. It used to be really good. But, the one who was doing all the cooking, she hasn't retired, but she doesn't really come on camping trips that like she's. We had our director, he started cooking, but he's not a cook or anything. So it got all right. But at Oshkosh, our food was great because we brought somebody with us specifically for cooking. So that was the best eating experience that I've ever had camping, was at this last previous Oshkosh. And
yeah, you have to.
So I'm going to shout out to Auntie Joanne Fuller. I'm going to shout out to her in case she see this. Thank you for the food. It was the best. Then, so outside of Oshkosh, it's up to the director and who's ever there to cook. So it fell on me. So I'm like, I'm not a cook. So what I did was, I was really slick about it. I'm like, you know what? This would be a great teaching experience for my TOTs. So maybe y'all should put together the meal and cook it. That'd be a great learning experience for you. I'm sure. I told him, I'm like, I think it's in your TOT manual. That way I got him to do it. I really didn't want to cook because I'm not the best cook. And I've done it before. So I just kind of skirted that responsibility over to my TOTs real slick, They enjoyed it, though. That's how I hate the situation.
Yeah, recently we've been, because my mom was a Pathfinder cook for us, but recently we've been having, the kids cook, for different camping skills. Some have to fry and things like that, and it's just... It's just
okra. What? That's what I'm waiting for.
Okra.
Yes. If I was a cook, we having mashed potatoes, some okra, fried okra, because we can't have chicken. Fried okra.
Fried okra.
All right.
Who is frying when you're camping, Kit Kat?
Oh,
I feel like that's a lot.
Away. if you can put an air mattress up with one hand and make a way using the car, I can make a way and fry some okra. Okay, that is not hard. You just get a frying pan with some grease, put it over a fire, pour some oil on that fire, make it okay. Also, if you do that, don't do that because that's dangerous. Don't do that. Okay.
But I feel like it's just so hot, especially. Do you guys do winter camp?
Hold on one second. You kind of froze on me.
Me?
Can you repeat that, Jabel?
I said, do you guys do winter camping or you do strictly summer camping?
Okay, so
we used to do winter camp, but I'm trying to bring it back over at my church. But we haven't done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to bring it back.
When I was a Pathfinder, we camped in spring, summer, fall, winter. We camped every season. We camped.
See, I want to do winter camping, but we don't do it. I think it would be so fun, but we like camp summertime when it's nice and hot.
No, then you gotta worry about mosquitoes and spiders. In the winter, sometimes you gotta worry about spiders, sometimes you don't, but you ain't gotta worry about mosquitoes.
Yeah, my problem is I be fighting against my staff because I consider myself like a real camper. You know, I give me my sleeping bag and my toiletries and my tent. You know, and I'm out there. But my staff, they're a little bit different. Like even last year when we went to Oshkosh, we got a propane stove, not the stove top, but like the full oven and everything. And I'm like, what you gonna use the oven for on a camping trip?
Oh my goodness!
I remember that one lady.
I've been eating with y'all.
What did you say, Kit Kat?
I said I remember that one lady was using her car to put up an air mattress. I was like, y'all don't camp, do y'all?
They were trying to take the camp out of camp, and they're like, look, we need our own individual shower tents. I'm like, what? Like every single thing that they want to bring, they basically want to pack up their houses and bring them, and then just like set it there, and be like, yeah, we're camping. Nah, it don't work like that, you know. So I'm at a constant struggle. I'm trying to get winter camping, trying to get us to rough. They like, nah, we want the luxury. We want really camping. So we usually meet in the middle. No, we usually meet in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm at right now with camping. But I consider myself a real camper personally, not like you who likes an air mattress.
Well, you tried it. I'm a real camper. I just listen. Either you want happy Jabel who's had some sleep or not. I take happy Jabel who had some sleep. So
you know what I really want to do? Like if I was to ever be a director, right? I would take not only the TLTs, okay? After they complete a certain amount of work, I would take those who completed that on a camp out where we use the cooking kit where you get that little pan, the pot, bowl. We would bring food, but each person is responsible for cooking their own food over the fire.
mm-hmm.
Everybody take turns making the fire. Like you could have a group of people do a fire one night, then the other one the next night. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
I want them to go all out. Like you about to do all this. The only thing you ain't have to do is bring the food. I brought the food, but you gotta cook it.
Yeah, and that's good because you know camping. I feel like camping is really important because it helps. It builds social skills for one because you're actually there, you're interacting with each other. No, you're not on the phone texting. You're actually interacting with each other. It builds your physical skills, especially when you have to do things like either chop your own wood, you know, put up your tent. It builds your physical skills. It builds your mental skills because when I go camping, I always, you know, do at least one honor. If it's not the camping 1, 2, or 3 honor, we do different honors. You know, nature honors. So it builds your mental skills. And it's just all around good for you. You know, it's good to get out into nature and to be, I feel like when I'm out in nature personally, I feel closer to God and what's pure and natural and allow me away from all the man-made things, you know, with all the pollution, the artificial lights, all that. I feel, you know, closer to God, and I feel like it's easier to grab the attention of young people when there's so many less distractions. You know, there's so much less distraction. You can really focus on what it is you're actually doing at the time. So I feel like camping is really important for all those many different reasons.
I actually really enjoy camping, and I've done it since as long as I can remember because I started off an adventurer. But like, I actually like look forward to camping trips. So when like COVID happened, I was like, oh, I really wanted to go camping, but I'm at least glad we got to have Oshkosh because Oshkosh is. I feel like that's what every Pathfinder looks forward to.
I'm not gonna lie.
That's the main Oshkosh.
I set up my tent in my backyard more than one time during quarantine. Just because I couldn't go anywhere else.
That's good. You get out.
Ooh, I don't know that I miss it that much. I'm setting up a tent.
Well, I got
I love setting up tents. Like, I love to do that.
I was watching Hulu in my tent, so whatever.
Oh.
But you have to be like to set up, and you have to be with like a fun group. And I don't know, and I'll say this. I don't know if you guys like. I don't know how you guys store your camping equipment, but I know Hyde Park personally. We have storage, and the storage stories I can tell you of like us getting to storage Friday night, so we can leave. And then coming back Sunday, trying to unload everything. We used to, like, storage facilities really big. We used to run around and scare each other. And we used to have the best time in storage. Like, that was it. Just chilling at storage after Pathfinder. So, like, do y'all store stuff?
You have an off-site area that you store? That you put in, like, a storage container? Like the monthly?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's cool. Nah, we store our camping equipment. It's actually dispersed between the Pathfinder room and mezzanine. Now, the mezzanine is the absolute worst place for me because picture this now. Right now, I'm currently 6'7". When I was 10 years old, I was probably about 5'10" or something like that, right? So back then, I was hitting my head on the ceiling in the mezzanine. So imagine now, I gotta bend all the way over. I'd be all the way bent over just to avoid hitting my head on the beams. And sometimes I still do. I used to hit my head so much, like it stopped hurting. But now I learned to duck at least enough. So I used to hit my head so much it stopped hurting. So I gotta go get the tents and everything and bring them out and go back in. So I'm like, okay, let's do a system here. I'm not going up there. So the TLTs and the Pathfinders, you guys can go up there and get them, and I'll put them on the bus. You know, I'll take them from here, put them on the bus. But some things are too heavy for them. So I'm like, I gotta go grab these big old heavy things from this magazine. My back gonna be hurting by the time I get out of here.
Listen.
So I'm like, we gotta find something different.
Packing for camping trips is no joke. And especially because my mom's a cook, and like shout out to her because she has us eating so well every time. But like on top of storage, we bring all the food too. So it's just, and then once you get there, like Kit Kat said, like it always is raining. Like it'll be the absolute perfect day, and then it's time to set up, and it starts raining.
Well,
that's a skill though. That's a skill too.
One of the things that I'm very thankful for, this wasn't even my situation, but I had seen it. It was years ago where we had a retreat at Camp Wagner where we were on tents. And it was nighttime. It was either Burns or some other church that was driving a van, and the van got stuck. And you just saw all these random Pathfinders start pushing on the van, trying to get it out the mud.
Oh, like, I remember that.
Like that. Sometimes when you in school, whether it's public school or private school, and you just feel like you give up hope for humanity, when you with Pathfinders, you kind of get some of that back because you just see everybody doing all these acts of kindness.
Like you really are a big family.
Yeah. Like
I love when we have like Union or Oshkosh and we like just get together. And even our camp outs at Camp Wagner. Yeah. It's just fun to mingle and meet everybody.
That's really good, you know, because even when I was younger, we didn't come together as much as we do now. And I really love that because even when I was younger, I can't really remember a lot of interaction between the different areas or like different regions at all. Like no interaction between the different regions and not even a lot between different areas. You know, I know some people from Shiloh, a couple from Hyde Park.
Hyde Park?
Yeah, Hyde Park Constellation. But other than that, it's not really a lot of interaction. But lately, years, you know, it has been. And I think that's really good for the camaraderie, because I think it's good to not just have camaraderie within your own club, but to have camaraderie with people from different areas, from different states, you know, because, you know, we're all together, you know. They said, like you said, we're all one family, no matter if somebody lives in California or if they live in Japan, you know. Especially as Pathfinders, we're all one family. We should be able to coexist and get along with each other, you know. And I try to encourage that in my Pathfinders. They don't really like that. They don't really like talking to people that they don't know. So I try to encourage them every time we go somewhere and there are different areas. You know, I always make it a necessity. I say, you got to meet at least 2 people. You got to find out 3 facts about them, you know, just so you can, because that also helps you in life in creating connections. You know, you have to be able to network and create connections in everyday life. And it's just another aspect that Pathfinders can teach you to prepare you for life, you know. And I think that's the best thing about Pathfinders. It can teach you so many different avenues and aspects, everything you can think of, from spiritual to mental to physical to interpersonal relationships, everything you want to be able to learn, do it for you if you're willing. You know, that's what I love about it.
Well, I thank you guys for coming up on here and talking to me today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Well, I hope to see you guys in the next video or one of the ones coming up. And for those that are watching, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Don't forget, if you want to be on here or you have a conversation for us, don't forget to go to the HonestPodcast at hotmail.com. Don't worry, we actually do read those emails. So we'll see you guys later. And don't forget to tune in for church on Saturdays. Have a nice day, you guys.
Bye.
Let's just be honest.
Be honest.
Let's just